Be me 21 years old, final year of university studying marketing. Name's Leo. Grew up with just my mom, dad was never in the picture. She worked two jobs to keep us afloat, so I learned the value of hard work early. Always told myself I'd pay her back for all the sacrifices she made. Managed to get a paid internship at a decent-sized marketing agency downtown. It's not Google, but it's a foot in the door. The pay is just enough to cover my rent for a small apartment and help my mom with some bills. The dream is to get a full-time offer after the internship ends in 3 months, so yeah, I'm hungry. My first day. The office is what you'd expect. Open plan layout, glass walls, a foosball table nobody uses, and that generic corporate modern aesthetic. My boss is a senior manager named Mr. Davies. Seems like a decent guy, mid-50s, old school but fair. He introduces me to the team I'll be working with. It's a small team focused on a few big client accounts. There's a couple of other quiet guys in data analysis, and then there's Jenna and Carla. Jenna is maybe late 20s, has that air of someone who thinks they're the smartest person in the room. Carla is a bit older, maybe early 30s, seems more cynical and perpetually unimpressed. They're the two senior associates on the team. I'm the only intern. Davies sets me up at a spare desk right next to Jenna and Carla's little pod. He tells me my job is to support them, handle overflow tasks, run reports, basically be their go-to guy for the grunt work. I'm totally fine with that. I'm here to learn, and I'm not above fetching coffee if it means I get to see how a real agency works. I smile, say I'm eager to get started, and they give me these tight little smiles back. The kind of smile you give a waiter when they tell you the kitchen is out of what you wanted to order. I can already feel the vibe is a little off. First week is pretty standard. I spend most of my time learning their systems, organizing files, and doing small, tedious tasks. I make sure to do everything perfectly. I double-check my work, finish tasks way before the deadline, and ask if there's anything else I can do. I'm usually the first one in the office and one of the last to leave. Not because I'm trying to be a hero, but because I want to use this opportunity to absorb as much as possible. After I'm done with my assigned tasks, I spend the extra hour or two reading old campaign reports, trying to understand their strategies. I figure the more I know, the more useful I'll be. This is when the comments start. At first, they're subtle, disguised as jokes. I stay a little late on a Wednesday to finish up a data entry task. As Jenna is packing up her stuff, she looks over at me. Leo, you know they don't give out medals for staying late, right? She says it with a laugh, so I just chuckle and say, just want to make sure I get this right. Carla chimes in from her desk, not even looking up from her phone. Don't let them exploit your youthful energy. Work-life balance is a feminist issue, you know. I didn't really know what to say to that. I'm just a kid trying to earn a job, not dismantle the patriarchy through corporate slacking. I just nod and get back to my spreadsheet. It keeps happening. Every time I show a little extra initiative, they have something to say. I ask Mr. Davies if I can sit in on a client call to observe. He says yes, thinks it's a great idea. After the call, Carla pulls me aside. Hey, just a heads up, she says in this conspiratorial tone. You don't want to look too thirsty, it makes the rest of us look bad. I'm confused. I just wanted to see how a client presentation works. I get it, she says, patting my shoulder in a way that feels incredibly condescending. But you're an intern, your job is to do the tasks you're given. Trying to jump the ladder is a very male way of thinking. I just stand there baffled. My gender has nothing to do with it. My mom worked herself to the bone for me, and she never once complained about ladder jumping. She just did what she had to do. The mockery gets more direct. They start calling me super intern or Mr. CEO when they walk by my desk. If I get into the office at 8:30 a.m., Jenna will say, loud enough for the whole area to hear, "Wow, Leo, trying to beat the sunrise." Someone's really leaning into that toxic hustle culture. I try to ignore it, keep my head down, and just do my work. I remind myself why I'm here, to get a job, help my mom, and build a future for myself. Their opinions don't pay my bills. One afternoon, I'm working on compiling a massive list of media contacts. It's boring, mind-numbing work, but it needs to be done. Jenna and Carla are talking near the coffee machine. I can hear every word. It's honestly pathetic, Jenna says. He's probably one of those guys who watches hustle grind videos on YouTube. Totally, Carla agrees. He's performing for the male gaze of corporate approval. It's sad. Doesn't he have friends, a girlfriend, a life? Probably not. He's too busy trying to prove his worth. Classic male fragility. That one stung. I do have friends. I just don't see them as much because I'm balancing a full-time internship with my final year of university coursework. I don't have time to go out drinking on a Tuesday night. And hearing them dissect my personal life like that, reducing my work ethic to some kind of masculine insecurity, it just felt so incredibly unfair. The project that changed everything kicks off about a month into my internship. It's for our biggest client, a skincare company called Aura. They're launching a new product line, and our agency is handling the entire marketing campaign. It's a huge deal. The success of this campaign could mean big bonuses for everyone and a renewed contract with the client. Mr. Davies calls a team meeting. He lays out the whole strategy. Social media, influencer outreach, digital ads, analytics, the works. He assigns the core strategy and client communication to Jenna and Carla. They're the leads. My job is to support them with research, scheduling posts, and tracking basic engagement metrics. Standard intern stuff. Jenna and Carla seem excited at first, but their version of leading the project quickly becomes clear. It means delegating every single tedious task to me while they spend their days in brainstorming sessions that sound a lot like gossiping and online shopping. They're supposed to be doing the deep competitive analysis, the complex budget tracking, and the high-level influencer negotiations. But whenever I walk past their desks, they're laughing at memes or planning their weekend trips. They leave promptly at 5 p.m. every single day, sometimes earlier. The work will be there tomorrow, Jenna would always say with a shrug. I, on the other hand, am swamped. They give me tasks with ridiculously tight deadlines, seemingly just to see if I'll crack. I don't. I just put my head down and get it done. I organize the social media calendar, draft copy for hundreds of posts, compile detailed research reports, and handle all the initial outreach emails to smaller influencers. I start to notice that the parts of the project they're supposed to be managing are falling behind. The master budget spreadsheet hasn't been updated in a week. The analytics dashboard for tracking ad spend is full of placeholder numbers. I can see the storm clouds gathering, but it's not my place to say anything. I'm just the intern. One evening, I'm staying late to schedule a week's worth of social media posts. It's about 7 p.m., and the office is empty except for me and one of the quiet data guys, Ben, on the other side of the floor. I'm working on the Aura project's social media scheduler when I notice a problem. The ad spend data that Jenna was supposed to give me for the next week's boosted posts is missing. Without it, I can't properly allocate the budget in the system. I shoot her a quick email knowing she won't see it until the morning. But I'm curious and a little worried. I know I shouldn't, but I navigate to the shared project folder on the server. I find the main Aura Campaign Analytics folder. I click on it. It's a mess. Files are mislabeled, reports are half finished. I open the main budget tracker, the one Carla is supposed to manage. It's a disaster. Formulas are broken, entire sections are missing data. It looks like she set it up on the first day and hasn't touched it since. A cold feeling washes over me. This isn't just a little behind schedule, this is professional negligence. This entire multi-million-dollar campaign is being held together with digital tape and wishful thinking. My first instinct is to tell Mr. Davies, but then I hesitate. What would that accomplish? I'd look like a snitch, a tattletale intern trying to get his superiors in trouble. Jenna and Carla would turn it around on me somehow, I was sure of it. They'd say I was overstepping, that I didn't understand the process, that I was just an intern who couldn't see the bigger picture. They would make my life a living hell for the next 2 months, and maybe, just maybe, they had a plan. Maybe they were going to fix it all at the last minute. Yeah, right, so I make a decision. I'm not going to snitch, but I'm not going to let this campaign fail and potentially take my job prospects down with it. That night, I stay until 10 p.m. I make a copy of their entire analytics folder and save it to a private folder on my personal drive. I start cleaning it up. I fix the broken formulas in the budget tracker. I go through the raw ad spend data from our vendors and start filling in the missing numbers. I create a new, clean dashboard from scratch, linking all the data sources so they update automatically. I'm not an analytics expert, but I'm good with Excel and I'm a quick learner. I find tutorials online. I read through old project files to see how it was done before. It's like solving a giant, complicated puzzle. And as I work, I start to understand the campaign on a much deeper level. I see which ads are performing well, which demographics are responding, where the budget is being wasted. I see the whole picture, not just my little intern-sized corner of it. I do this every night for the next 2 weeks. I do my assigned work during the day flawlessly and on time. Jenna and Carla continue their routine of mockery and minimal effort. They'd come in, ask me for a report, then spend the rest of the day planning Carla's bachelorette party. Leo, you're so quiet today, Jenna would say, tired from all that hustling, and they would both laugh. I just smile and nod. They have no idea I'm spending my nights rebuilding the entire analytical foundation of their project. I call it my shadow project. I keep my version of the files updated in real time. I track everything meticulously. Part of me is doing it to cover my own back. If the project goes down in flames, I want to have proof that I did my job and then some. But another part of me is doing it because I can't stand to see something with so much potential be run into the ground by lazy, entitled people. The tension in the office is getting thicker. The final client presentation is only a week away. Mr. Davies is starting to ask more questions. He's a smart guy and he can smell that something is wrong. He starts asking Jenna and Carla for specific numbers in team meetings. What's our current customer acquisition cost on the new ad set? He'd ask. Jenna would falter, looking at her notes. It's trending positively. We're seeing great synergy. She uses a lot of buzzwords when she doesn't know the answer. Carla would jump in to support her. The preliminary data is promising. We're on track to meet our key performance indicators. They're tap dancing and they know it. I'm sitting at the back of the room, silent, with the exact number calculated on my laptop screen, $17.42. I know that number is about 15% higher than the initial projection. It's a problem. They have no clue. The day before the big presentation, it all comes crashing down. Mr. Davies calls an emergency meeting at 4 p.m. He looks furious. I've never seen him look like this before. His face is red and he's clenching his jaw. I just got off the phone with our finance department, he says, his voice dangerously calm. They flagged a massive overspend on the Aura account. Can someone explain to me why we are $60,000 over budget on digital ads with a week still to go in the reporting period? The room is dead silent. Jenna and Carla look like they've seen a ghost. They start stammering, looking at each other for help. That can't be right, Carla says. The numbers in the tracker must be off. I'm looking at the tracker right now, Carla, Mr. Davies says, projecting his screen onto the wall. And it looks like you haven't updated it in 3 weeks. It's full of junk data. The spreadsheet on the wall is their messy, broken version. It's a train wreck. Jenna jumps in, trying to do damage control. There must have been a glitch with the server sync. We've been tracking it locally. It's a weak lie and everyone knows it. Show me, Mr. Davies says, his voice like ice. Carla starts fumbling with her laptop, pretending to look for a file that doesn't exist there cornered. And then they do what I always knew they would do. They try to throw me under the bus. The intern was responsible for inputting the daily spend data, Jenna says, pointing a finger at me. Leo, did you forget to upload the latest numbers? Every head in the room turns to me. I feel a surge of adrenaline, a mix of fear and anger. I've worked my tail off. I've stayed late every night. I've done my job and their job too, and this is the thanks I get. My heart is pounding, but my voice comes out surprisingly steady. I uploaded all the data I was given, I say, looking directly at Jenna. I've been asking you for the updated ad spend sheets every day for the past 2 weeks. Carla scoffs. That's not true. We sent them to you. You must have missed the emails. Mr. Davies looks at me, his eyes searching my face. He doesn't know who to believe, his two senior associates or the quiet intern. Leo, do you have any records of these requests? He asks. This is it, the moment of truth. I take a deep breath. Yes, I do, I say. But I have something else too. I open my laptop and connect it to the projector. I pull up my shadow project folder. On the screen, a beautiful, clean, perfectly organized dashboard appears. It has everything. Real-time budget tracking, customer acquisition cost, return on ad spend, influencer engagement rates, all broken down by demographic and platform. There are charts, graphs, and projections. It's the entire story of the campaign told through data. I was concerned about the inconsistencies I saw a few weeks ago, I explain, my voice gaining confidence as I speak. So I started tracking the data myself just for my own learning purposes. I pulled the raw data from the vendor portals every day and built this dashboard to help me understand it. I click through the tabs showing the updated budget, the overspend, and exactly which ad campaigns were responsible for it. As you can see, I say, pointing to a specific chart, the overspend started happening 11 days ago right here. The cost per click on the Radiant Serum campaign for females aged 25-34 spiked unexpectedly. It should have been flagged and adjusted immediately, but it wasn't. The entire room is staring at the screen, mouths slightly ajar. Jenna and Carla look like they're about to be physically sick. They're completely exposed. There's no buzzword, no corporate jargon that can save them now. Mr. Davies walks slowly towards the screen, studying my dashboard. He's silent for what feels like an eternity. He zooms in on the chart showing the overspend. He turns to me. Leo, he says, his voice quiet but full of something I can't quite decipher. How long did this take you to build? I've been working on it for about 3 weeks, sir, I reply. A few hours every evening after I finish my assigned tasks. He just nods, a slow, deliberate nod. Then he turns to Jenna and Carla. The fury is gone from his face. It's been replaced by a look of cold, hard disappointment. Jenna, Carla, my office now, he says. They get up, avoiding eye contact with everyone, and walk out of the room like prisoners on their way to the gallows. The door to his office closes, and the rest of us are left in stunned silence. The meeting is over. I go back to my desk and start packing my things. My hands are shaking. I have no idea what just happened or what it means for me. Did I just commit career suicide? Did I overstep my bounds so badly that they'll fire me on the spot? Ben, the quiet data guy, walks over to my desk. Hey, he says, that was amazing, seriously. I've been saying for months that their data management was a joke. It feels good to hear that, but I'm still terrified. I'm just an intern. I don't know the rules of corporate politics. I probably just broke all of them. About an hour later, Mr. Davies emerges from his office. Jenna and Carla are not with him. He walks directly over to my desk. My stomach sinks. Leo, can you come with me for a moment? He asks. I nod, my throat suddenly dry. I follow him back to his office. It feels like the longest walk of my life. He closes the door and gestures for me to sit down. He sits behind his desk and just looks at me for a moment. I've been a manager for 25 years, Leo, he begins, and in that time I have never seen an intern do what you just did. Oh God, here it comes. I've also never been so thoroughly disappointed in two of my senior employees, he continues. What they did was unacceptable, not just the negligence, but the attempt to blame you for their failures. That, to me, is unforgivable. He lets out a long sigh and leans back in his chair. Jenna and Carla have been placed on indefinite administrative leave, pending a full review. To be frank, I don't expect them to be coming back. I'm stunned, I don't know what to say. The problem, he says, leaning forward again, is that I have a presentation for our biggest client in less than 24 hours, and the two people who were supposed to lead it are gone. The campaign is over budget and the results are not what we promised. He pauses, looking me straight in the eye. But thanks to your dashboard, I now know exactly what the problems are, and more importantly, I can see some opportunities. Some of your notes in the file, your suggestions for reallocating the budget, they're good, very good. My heart starts beating a little faster. Leo, he says, I know this is a lot to ask. It's completely outside the scope of your internship. but I need your help. I need you to walk me through this data tonight. I need you to help me rebuild this presentation from the ground up. We need to go to the client tomorrow with a story of what went wrong, what we learned, and how we're going to fix it. Your dashboard is the foundation of that story. He's asking me to help save the project. He's treating me not like an intern, but like a colleague. Yes, I say, without a second of hesitation. Of course, I'll help. A wave of relief washes over his face. Good, he says. Order whatever you want for dinner. It's on the company. It's going to be a long night. And it was. We stayed in that office until 3 a.m. We worked side by side, tearing down the old presentation and building a new one. A new one based on truth, on real data, on my data. I explained every chart, every number, every trend. He listened, asked sharp questions, and challenged my assumptions. It was the most intense, most exhausting, and most exhilarating experience of my life. For the first time, I felt like I was actually a marketer, not just an intern playing one. By the time we finished, we had a new story to tell Aura. It was an honest story. It showed the mistakes that were made, but it also showed a clear, data-driven path forward to not only get the campaign back on track, but to make it even more successful than originally planned. The next morning, I went home for a quick shower and a change of clothes. I came back to the office running on pure adrenaline and 3 cups of coffee. The presentation was at 10 a.m. Mr. Davies walked into the conference room and he looked at me. "You should be in here for this," he said, so I followed him in and took a seat in the back corner. The clients from Aura filed in, looking serious. Mr. Davies started the presentation. He was brilliant, he was honest and direct, he didn't make excuses. He walked them through what had happened and then he put my dashboard up on the screen. He called it a new real-time analytics model developed by our team. He used the data to explain his new strategy, a strategy that I had helped him build just hours before. As he spoke, I could see the mood in the room change. The clients went from looking skeptical to looking intrigued and then to looking impressed. They asked tough questions, and Mr. Davies answered every single one using my data to back up his points. At one point, the head of marketing from Aura asked a very specific question about engagement rates in a niche demographic. Mr. Davies looked at me. "Leo, can you pull up that data?" I walked up to the front of the room, took the laptop, and navigated to the exact chart they were asking about in a matter of seconds. I explained what the numbers meant, and just like that, I was part of the presentation. When it was over, the Aura clients were smiling. "We're impressed, David," the head of marketing said to Mr. Davies. "You were honest about the problems, but you came with a brilliant solution. This is the kind of partnership we value." They approved the new strategy on the spot. We had saved the account. After the clients left, Mr. Davies put a hand on my shoulder. "You did good, Leo," he said. "Really good." That was all he said, but it meant more than any amount of praise. That afternoon, an email went out to the entire company announcing that Jenna and Carla were no longer with the agency. Their desks were empty by the end of the day. A cleaning crew came and packed their personal belongings into cardboard boxes. The next week was a blur. Mr. Davies had me working directly with him, implementing the new strategy for the Aura campaign. I wasn't just doing intern tasks anymore. I was in strategy meetings. I was on client calls. I was managing parts of the budget. He was testing me, I knew it. He was throwing me into the deep end to see if I could swim, and I was swimming like my life depended on it. At the end of the week, he called me into his office again. "Leo," he said, getting straight to the point, "your internship officially ends in about a month, but I think we can both agree that you're not an intern anymore." He slid a piece of paper across the desk to me. It was an official offer letter, a full-time position as a junior marketing associate. The salary was more money than I had ever seen in my life. It was enough to comfortably pay my own bills, finish my degree at night, and finally help my mom in a real way. I stared at the paper, my eyes welling up. I thought about all the late nights, the tedious work, the mockery from Jenna and Carla. I thought about them calling me Mr. CEO and making fun of my toxic hustle culture. They thought they were mocking my weakness, my insecurity, my male fragility, but they weren't. They were mocking my motivation. They were mocking the promise I made to myself and to my mom, and their mockery, their laziness, their condescension, it didn't stop me, it just cleared the path. They didn't want their jobs, not really. They just wanted the status and the paycheck that came with them. They created a vacuum with their own incompetence. I didn't take their jobs, I just showed up, worked hard, and was ready to fill that vacuum when it opened up. I picked up the offer letter, my hand steady this time. I accept, I said, a huge smile spreading across my face. So here I am now, 6 months later, I'm sitting at a new desk. It's bigger than my old intern desk. It's actually in the spot where Jenna's desk used to be. The Aura campaign was a huge success. We renewed the contract and I got my first performance bonus. I'm taking my mom on a vacation next month. The first real vacation she's had in 20 years. Sometimes I think about Jenna and Carla. I don't feel anger or even satisfaction, really. I just feel a little bit of pity. They were so focused on tearing me down for working hard that they forgot to do their own work. They played a stupid game and they won a stupid prize. Me, I just wanted to build a better life for myself and my family. And it turns out, the best way to do that is to just ignore the noise and do the work.